welcome to another edition of WiseTalks, sponsored by Inner Outer You. And today I'm with some special guests, as you can see. I have Ezra. Say hi, Ezra.
No.
Okay. Everybody's saying hi to you.
Nope.
All right, well, let's see if your dad will say hi. And I have Erik. Say hi, Erik.
Hi, everybody.
Erik's friendly.
He's not friendly.
Okay. All right, so...
I'm just kidding.
So here we are. I'm in Tennessee, and I wanted to update you a little bit on how I got here. I was doing an event in North Carolina for the Mind Fit Neurotrainer and Dr. Patrick Porter, which you've seen on an earlier edition of the WiseTalks. And I said, you know what? My friend Erik lives close. I think the next state over. So I'm going to contact him and see if I can actually meet him in person for the first time ever. Now, that doesn't go without saying that I've actually known or have kept in touch with Erik since about 1999, when he published a blog, a travel blog, which at that time was called the Wandering Stars. And I thought, whoa, that's really cool. I mean, that's really interesting. And I read it every time he posted, I would read it. And I would think, that's amazing. That's exactly what I'm going to do when I go away on my trips, is I'm going to post blogs. Not in the same form that he did, but something similar. So what I'd like to do is say, Erik, it is a pleasure, my friend, to finally meet you. Thank you very much for having me at your home.
You're welcome.
And I think basically I do these interviews of WiseTalks just to help other people to understand why people do things a certain way.
Stop touching me.
Why they think differently or do things differently. And you are definitely a different person because A, you've done some pretty extensive traveling. B, you believe you were a computer programmer. When I first got in touch with you, you were working in the Silicone Valley. Now you live on a sustainable property where you basically sustain yourself. And you do a variety of body work as well as teach some yoga. Tell me something. How did you go from the programmer to where you're at now?
Well, I couldn't stand to sit in a cube mostly. I'd say that was the biggest part of it. And I just was restless. It was interesting work. Very cerebral, mentally stimulating, but I honestly just couldn't sit still, and so I had an interest in yoga and travel, and well, the job afforded me some savings, and I was able to go and travel, just drop out, and I went to India to study yoga.
Awesome. Partly seeing Erik do his thing in India was what also inspired me, and as you know, I'm known as the Wandering Ninja, and I thought, hey, if he's using Wandering Stars, I'm going to use Wandering Ninja. Mm-hmm. So I capitalized on that name, thinking that's an excellent introductory. That's an excellent introductory to some of the...
Come here, stay.
You got to stay back here, buddy. Okay, thanks. That's an excellent introductory to a lot of the things that I want to do. As you know, I lead groups to India, and Erik is planning on doing the same thing, to take them to exotic, sacred places that teach perhaps a different way of thinking and a different way of being in touch with yourself, your body, your mind, your emotions. So Erik and I see eye to eye on that, that's for sure. So Erik, you know, I've had some time to look around your property here, and we've seen some different things which I'm going to include in this film. What's it like living way out on 60 acres of wilderness with rivers and rock mountains to climb and all this natural, beautiful, fresh air that you have here? What's it like?
It's very different. I grew up in a city, and I would say that my travels in the more remote parts of the world definitely prepared me in a way to live out here, which it's quite remote here. Country people all over the world are similar in certain ways and different from city people all over the world. So I did have some experience with that kind of environment, even though I did grow up in a city. What is it like living out here? It's pretty quiet. You have to not mind being alone for lengths of time.
So you have to like yourself.
You don't have to, but
It helps.
put it this way: if you don't, you're probably a lot more likely to get into trouble out in the middle of nowhere. I have a lot of hobbies. Of course, the house itself and the property is endless hobbies. The house is still under construction, and livestock and gardening and such things will keep you pretty busy. And of course, mostly I take advantage of the natural beauty of the area with rock climbing, and in the summer swimming in the creeks, hiking. These are the things that make it so great to live out here. Of course, now I work in the city in Knoxville. I spend part of my week in Knoxville and part of my week out here.
So tell us, what is it that you do in Knoxville?
Yeah, I do body work, which is kind of like massage. It's based in traditional Thai massage, and it's a deep kind of massage. It takes place on a mat, and the clothes are on. There's no oil, so it doesn't really look like massage. But I use my feet and I sort of squish people in a therapeutic fashion to release tight muscles,
and people come back for more.
Yes, they lay there and say, "I can't believe I'm paying you to hurt me this much." But those of you who get deep body work will understand that, and it's a great way to. What I tell people is the parts of yourself you can't stretch, come see me. That's what I do. And I also teach yoga, and the two go together.
And you learned the yoga in India when you traveled?
Yes. Most of what I know about yoga I learned in India, and also through working with the body. You get to understand the body. You get to understand, where most people are tight, where most people are weak, and you get to be able to look at a person and get an idea of how you might help them.
Now, earlier today, we had the opportunity to introduce Erik to the needleless acupuncture stones, and he has had an ailment, an old injury of some sort, plaguing him for a while. And I said, well, I've got some acupuncture stones with me here. Why don't you try them and see what you think? And I told him, I said, they might get a little warm. Not to worry, that means it's doing its job. So, Erik, why don't you tell everybody a little bit about your experience with that?
It was truly interesting. Terry put the stones on me with a little bit of tape, just like masking tape to hold them on to some spots. And, we were working some in the abdomen, the inside of the leg. And initially, no sensation really, and after a few minutes, some definite heat, sensations of heat underneath the stone. And what was interesting to me was that there were a few of these points that, after about 10 minutes, there was a lot of sensation, and other points, no sensation. Now, 30 minutes later, those points which initially had no sensation had begun to heat up and became very active. And so the process took about an hour, and the sort of activation of it moved around the body to these different placed stones, and it was quite intense. If I put my hand on the stones, there was no feeling of heat coming through the stone, but there was a definite heat in the body underneath where the stone was placed. And actually, we're now probably 6 hours later, and I still actually have sensation on some of the points. And it's interesting because they continue to move around. I'll feel one point for a little while, and then another, and it seems to what I'm doing. So if I go and we walked down the driveway earlier, and that activity seemed to move things around, and all of a sudden another spot started to kind of fire up.
And would you have believed me if I had just taken those stones out and said, these are little power sources? You know, if I hadn't explained anything to you, would you believe that those things would actually generate in your body?
Actually, Terry had explained, and I still didn't believe it. So there's your answer. Until I felt it, I didn't believe it. But it was quite intense and very interesting.
Fantastic.
Very interesting.
Well, Erik, I usually like to leave off these talks just with a little bit of wisdom, perhaps, in regards to if you had anything that you could share with the audience in regards to the way that you lived your life. You and I have traveled a lot. We've done things a little bit differently in our lives. What would you say, maybe an insight or two insights, whatever you can think of, would be for the audience in relation to the way that you have gone about living your life and the direction that you've taken with your life?
Yeah, I definitely lived my life as an experiment. I'd say much of my adult life, and always been kind of conscious of that. I guess I've never been much afraid to fail. I've always just had faith that I would somehow survive, and that's enabled me to just try things. Some words of wisdom are bend your knees and breathe. Breathe deeply.
That's good wisdom, especially on the breathing part, and bending is always good too because it always saves your knees. So I'd like to thank everybody once again for tuning in to WiseTalks, and each and every talk that we have just gives you an opportunity to connect with different individuals from different fields and what they do in those different fields that can perhaps bring you a bit of insight and perhaps get you thinking a little bit about what is it in your life that you can do that might bring more quality and bring more inspiration, bring more adventure, the things that I think life are really worth living for. So once again, Erik, my friend, if I can give you a hug. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah, pleasure, and I really thank you for walking me into your home and your beautiful 60 acres. It's kind of nice. I haven't explored all of them yet, but I've gotten a few perhaps under my belt.
Are we ready to play the flowers?
We're almost ready to play. Do you want to say goodbye, Ezra? You want to come over and say goodbye? Come on.
Goodbye.
Well, you got to come over. You got to
Say it to the camera.
I want to give you a hug. I don't want to give you a hug.
Okay, say goodbye.
No.
Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Look right there.
Goodbye.
All right.
Namaste, everybody.
Namaste.
No,
So thank you
I know I'm going to stay.
for tuning into another edition of WiseTalks. Have a great day. Thank you. You did good. You did really
Let's
good.
play the flower game now.
Sweeping off the solar panels. Hard to get sun if you haven't got any panels.
My lawnmower, just throws grass. Lawnmowers work a lot better if you take away all the safety
Yeah.
functions of them and just let them blast that grass out. You can actually mow grass that's twice, 3 times, 4 times as long as you could ever mow.
Okay, so here we are. We're in Erik's backyard. Well, backyard's an understatement since Erik has about 60 acres, is that correct? 60 acres of property, so we're in the back of Tennessee here, and it's a big chunk of property. But what I wanted to show you, something that we talked about, was sustainability. And Erik has these solar panels, and I was quite interested in them when I first got here because I was interested to hear that Erik has set up his house where it runs off solar power, and he's got a bunch of batteries in the house, which hopefully we'll get a shot of in a minute. But Erik, what can you tell us? Like, how did you get the idea to set up these solar panels?
I lived in an
Dada,
RV. In an
let's
RV
wash
years ago.
it.
In the parking
Let's
lot.
wash it.
Wipe it on your shirt.
No.
People
My
just
shirt's not.
pick the pepper.
That's Ezra in the background, Eric's son, so you'll hear him talk to us once in a while.
Wipe it on your shirt and eat it.
No.
It's good. So I was living in an old RV in the parking lot of my Silicone Valley software firm, and to save from paying rent, and I bought a little solar panel to run the battery in the RV, so lighting and
so that's where the
running
idea came
water.
from?
Yeah, that was
Initially.
it. And that's actually where I learned about batteries and solar panels and stuff. And so, years later when I moved to Tennessee and got this rural property, started building a house. Actually, the first thing I did was build a shack and this rack here holding the solar panels, so I would have power to run the tools
Awesome.
that were used to build the house. So the house was built off solar power too.
So now this runs in your house. This runs your lights. I notice you have lights all through the house.
Yeah, lights and ceiling fans.
Ceiling fans.
And electronics, water. Now moving water takes quite a bit of electricity. I collect rainwater, and that goes into a tank, a cistern. So there's actually a well pump down in the tank, just like pumping out of a well. You pump
Pumps
out
it
of
up.
a tank,
Okay.
pumps it into the house, and creates water pressure and stuff.
Okay. And also, being here for a few days at Eric's place, I was able to plug my cell phone in to recharge it, and my computer if I wanted to, and I've got my iPod going, so it actually does provide quite a bit of electricity, which would be nice if more homes were able to utilize what Eric's doing here, and I think it's a great thing. So there you go, solar power, and if you have any questions about that, certainly Erik would be willing to share some of his expertise with you in regards to solar power. Okay, so let's move on to the next part, the garden. Here we are in Erik's garden, and not only does he have solar power for the house, but he also grows a lot of his own food. Nice healthy cucumbers here, as you can see, of different varying sizes. We could probably get another 5 or 6 down by my feet. And Ezra, what are you eating there? Oh, I better not hold your stomach too tight there. Ezra is eating a nice pepper, which he just picked out of the garden, so as you saw earlier. So Erik, tell me a little bit about your garden. What are you growing here besides cucumbers and the pepper here that Ezra is eating? What else have you got going on?
We have tomatoes, lots of tomatoes.
Tomatoes.
There's some summer squash, green beans, a lot of green beans. They grow really well in this climate. Down below is pepper plants. And, well, there were greens here, but they've bolted.
Okay.
The garden is built on a terrace. Well, it's terraced, so it was a hillside, and I took logs, stacked the logs alongside the hill, and basically filled with wood chip mulch from a local sawmill, and you mix that into the soil, and you get really nice soil.
Awesome.
It takes a little while, a couple of years, build up the soil, and plant different things every year.
Right. So just another phase of your sustainability.
Yeah, a lot of little things, small garden.
Awesome. Beautiful.
I don't want to say.
So Erik, you've provided me the opportunity to stay in your place for a few days, and I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. It's a wonderful house. I'm surprised at how big the house is, because I thought when I saw Erik advertise on the internet about his house that I was going to walk into a cabin, basically, maybe 1 or 2 rooms.
Here, let me pull my pants up.
It's a cabin. It's just a very big cabin.
Can
It's a
you
very
help
big
me
cabin.
put my
Ezra just went to the washroom back there, so he's working on getting his pants up.
Come here.
Come on over, Ezra. We'll help you get your pants up.
Yeah.
It's hard when you take a pee and you can't get those pants up, eh? We're all wearing pants out here because it's the end of July, beginning of August, and it's mosquito season. So we are cutting down on the bites that we might get if we were wearing shorts, which I love to wear shorts in the summertime. However, I do not like mosquito bites, and there's a lot of wilderness around here. There's mountains in the background, there's streams all over. It's just a fantastic, beautiful territory here. We're about an hour, I would say, would you say, out of Knoxville?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Hour and change.
an hour and change out of Knoxville, so it's gorgeous. So So Eric, tell me a little bit about why you built the house and what you use the house for, things like that.
Yeah. I always had an idea that it would be more than just me living out here, and so from the start, it was a big cabin. That was the idea, and you know, over the years, had different ideas, and the one that's stuck is this is the hostel, the Obed Hostel. Obed is the national park near here, and it's a series of gorge. Okay.
Oh, the gorge. The
Gorge.
yeah.
All right. These are gorges here. They're steep walled with cliffs, and it's a rock climbing area. So people come from all over to climb here. It's a world-class climbing destination. It's not necessarily a very popular destination. It's a bit out of the way, but great rock climbing here. And so my house is the Obed Hostel, and climbers come, stay at my place, and
So they bed down here, and it's really nice. He's got an inversion table, and he's got, which you'll probably see next, is a portion of his ceiling is like all set up for rock climbing with all the little nodules. I'm not sure what you call them, but holds. Yeah, you hold on to them and climb. So he's got all that stuff. And I have to tell you, if you're the type of person that likes to sort of be away from everything and be in a natural environment and sort of just be way out there, you know, maybe you and just the rocks type thing, then this is the place to be. Oh, and the natural streams. We swam in a stream yesterday. It was just awesome. I mean, it was such a nice way to cool down after a very hot day. And I must have swam for about an hour. I know Eric's son swam for an hour, and Erik just sort of chilled out on the rocks for a bit after he swam, but perfect. So if you like rock climbing, wilderness, swimming, hosteling in a huge lodge, then this is the place to be. So you got to check out Erik's webpage or his contact information and find out more how you can come here and take advantage of this wonderful natural scenery and environment.
I don't want it anymore. I'll throw it out the window.
No. Don't throw it out the window. Just eat a few more bites. Let me hang here for a minute.
3 bites.
And here we are in Erik's top floor. And let me see, wait a minute. That's Erik's feet. As we come down, there he is. This is the inversion table that Erik is hanging on, and that Ezra thinks is a teeter-totter.
You gotta get out of there, you're gonna get crushed. This is the dorm.
This is
Welcome
the dorm.
to the dorm. The dorm slash playroom slash exercise room.
This is where people stay when they come for the rock climbing. And it's a little dark in here right now, but I'm going to turn the camera around so you might be able to get an idea of what the ceiling looks like, or the walls in the ceiling. As you can see here.
Ezra, we're going to show people the climbing wall.
Yeah, this is the climbing wall.
Show Terry how you climb on that thing. Show him how you climb. This is where we practice our rock climbing.
Is there a toilet up here?
Well, you tell me.
We're gonna go pee.
So you know.
Maybe I can go pee in my hat. Maybe I can go pee in my hat. Maybe I can go pee in my hat.
There
Maybe I
goes
can
Erik
go pee in my hat.
working on,
Not gonna be doing much.
what do you call those again, Erik?
Climbing holes.
Climbing holes, right. So when you're not climbing the actual rock faces, you can practice on these.
There he goes.
And there goes Ezra, his son.
That's the expert right there.
All right, yeah, you're doing good, Ezra.
There you go. Get the foot. That's it. You got it. Get the foot on. Good job.
All right. And so this is the dorm. Which there's nobody here right now, which is good, so I don't have to film anybody. But as you can see, there's lots of comfortable mattresses here. And it suits its purpose for people who want to come and crash and climb and swim and be in a reclusive, like, natural environment.
Come with me.
So Eric, tell us a little bit about your pigs.
I have 7 pigs, and this is a sow, and she'll hopefully have piglets sometime this fall. There's a boar out wandering around, and then there are 5 other pigs in another pen just adjacent to this, and they're out foraging. So my hogs are free range, and the hogs out there have about a 20-acre area fenced in, which they forage in.
These have to be some of the best well-kept pigs that I know. Can you imagine having 20 acres to forage around and do what you want to do? I mean, when I lived out in Calgary and I helped to clean up in a ranch and a barn, pigs had a pen about the size of 10 foot by 10 foot, and it wasn't pretty, let me tell you. This guy takes care of his pigs like their family almost. I mean, they can roam wherever they want to. You know, I mean, we've only got one here right now because the rest of them are out there. I don't know what they're doing whatever they want to do.
Hopefully eating. Yeah, they're rooting. They're eating worms, grubs, bugs, and nuts like acorns or hickory nuts. And here in probably about a month, the acorns will start to fall, and that will be the hog's main source of food for about a month.
Okay.
While the acorns are falling.
Now I also saw the other day when we were here feeding them, I saw a lamb.
There's a lamb out there with the hogs. Yeah, they all run in a pack.
Yeah. So the lamb's out there with the pigs somewhere.
Yeah. So yeah, the hogs are just part of the little homestead experience, and I a long time ago when I moved out here, I decided, I do like to eat meat. I'm a carnivore, and I'm gonna just raise them myself and do it right. And hogs are pretty easy to raise, so I tried various things, and it didn't all work out so well. There's livestock, and pigs just ended up being the easiest to take care of. They're tough, they're durable, they're hard to kill. Well, I mean, they live until it's time to kill them.
Yeah. And then I would imagine you get quite a bit of meat off of them.
Yeah, of course. And I do the meat like the old way. I'll salt a lot of it, salt the hams and bacons, and I make sausage, which you can in a jar. Yeah, that's a cucumber. You can eat it, or you can feed it to the pig. Either one.
Pig will eat it too. Why don't you break a little bit off and give it to the pig?
I make lard. I cook with lard. It's very.
How about we give the pig
It's
some
very
corn?
nice. Nothing fries like lard, people. And
How about
homestead
we
lard
give the pig some corn?
is really nice stuff. Free range fats have a lot of nutrients in them. And so yeah.
This side.
All right, look out.
No,
Here she comes.
can I eat this side?
You can eat any of that cucumber that you want. Eat the whole thing. Good boy. Here, look here. Here comes Oolong.
Yeah.
For you
Here comes
Dragon
the other
Ball
one.
fans, that's Oolong.
Soon as Eric put the food out, what's his name?
Oolong.
Oolong?
That's the pervert pig there. Oolong.
She's doing a good job keeping him out. You must have heard that from a mile away. He says, boy, all I have to do is hear that container being opened and I'm over here like a shot.
Yeah.
Here come the rest of them. They heard the food. They're traveling in a pack. You got more than that though, don't you, Eric? Wasn't there? Oh, there's the other one there. Okay, I didn't see those two.
5 total. 5 hogs in that pen.
Yeah, I saw. The other ones are over on the side. Here they come. They're all coming now. There they are. That's the gang. Little small one there.